Coming up, the speaker is Madam D.K. HemaHari, who is founder BharathGyan and author and research scholar on Indian civilization. Her core work includes research compilation of 500 plus short films, 108 plus subjects of Indian civilization, 100 plus books she's authored on Indian civilization in English, Hindi, Kannada, Tamil, Gujarati, and she also has in her portfolio 300 short films made on Indian civilization for social media and 5 documentaries. Welcome, ma'am. And with your permission, I will put forward the questions that we have received for you from our participants. Let me go to the first question. And you were working into MNCs and you were into technology and management. Now, as a person, what made you choose Indian knowledge system as your area of research? And you see any influence of the ancient Indian geometry or mathematics in the present architecture or lifestyle of the people?
Yes, first of all, thank you for inviting me on this panel and giving an opportunity to talk about this great Hori civilization to a lot of youngsters here. The what got us into, actually, my husband and I, we both work on this jointly, and we've been doing so for the last 25 years. And it all started because, as part of our professional career, we were traveling all over the world, and we used to see how the different civilizations showcase the knowledge and about the history about their civilization, the culture, various aspects. Whereas we have so much of knowledge and so much of information, and we have influenced the whole world with this knowledge, and as well as a lot of our produce too. And we don't talk about it, and we have not been showcasing it enough. We are not aware of it ourselves. So we started compiling. Those were pre-Google days, pre-social media. So it took us quite a while to compile, but the journey gave us a beautiful holistic picture about the civilization, its different knowledge systems, how they're all seamlessly integrated. And so that is what we've been trying to bring out to everybody here. I mean, both Indians and people all over the world, we try to share all this information. Now, coming to the relevance of this knowledge system, and especially on the topic of Baudhayana and geometry, since there are so many youngsters here, I would like to start off with saying the relevance starts when you first start appreciating. You first have to become aware and appreciate, and then automatically you will see the relevance in so many areas. And to become aware and start appreciating, one of the first few words, Baudhayana and geometry, when you say, so where does this geometry start? How has this civilization envisaged geometry, understood geometry? And the word geometry, we all say today, every child today, fortunately today, is able to say that geometry comes from Jyamiti or Gyamiti, which is a Indian word. And how did they get this word Jyamiti then? So, the question is to keep on asking how, why. As a youngster, all of us should keep on asking these questions, how and why. And we'll automatically, the beauty will be unraveled. I would like to share screen if I have the permission. Yes,
Yeah,
I
ma'am.
can. Thank you. See, I would like to show this shloka, which is called Bhu Gayatri. Okay. So we say Dhanurdaraye cha vidmahe, Sarva Siddhyai cha dhimahi, Tanno Dhara Prachodayat. So which means this is Bhu for the earth, and it's a praise to the earth saying, "Oh mother, we understand you as holding the bow, and you're known to bestow upon us all prosperity, and you stimulate our minds, and you're bearing the whole thing, and you're offering all this to us." Now, this imagination of earth as a bow, look at this. If you were to stand, so this is what our ancient Rishi actually did. They, wherever they stood, they looked up at the sky And from one horizon to the other, they discern that this sky is like a bow. And all the planets, of course, planets and other objects, they are spread all over the sky. But there were these which were traveling along this path in the sky. And this bow is not a bow if it doesn't have this bowstring. And what was this bowstring? This entire line from one horizon to the other is your bowstring. And what is the sound that a bowstring makes? When you pluck a bow, you have a dhanush, and you pull the string, it makes a sound, jiao, jiao. That's a kind of sound you'll get, with a tight, taut bowstring. And look at the word for a bowstring, it is jia. So for them, the earth is like a jia and it is holding the dhanur on top. So mathematics, the geometry, all of this are actually, they're just not some formulae and some numbers and some abstract things. That is reality. Maths is reality. It is the real that you see around you. So when two people come together and you say two come from this side, two come from that side, and you say 2 + 2 is 4, that is the reality you're seeing in front of you with your eyes. And this civilization has evolved maths beautifully, and you can credit it with every important aspect of mathematics, starting from 0 to infinity, almost like this entire the bow, the spectrum, and also the individual aspects of numbers, the algebra. But for all this to understand, you have to understand the concept behind why do you use algebra? When should you use algebra? Why did they find the need to use algebra? When did they find the need to use geometry? From there, when did they move on to using trigonometry, inventing trigonometry? When did they then move on to calculus? And with all of these, when you look at this as an entire civilization and you see the ties that this civilization has had with other ancient civilizations, you will also see how beautifully all these have moved. From here, it has gone there, how things have further developed, and with time, where we have reached today, how we have reached today only because of these kind of fundamentals. And the importance of this jya, which becomes jyamiti or geometry, also lies in one of the most important discoveries of Baudhayana, which is pi, and which talks about the ratio, right? About the circumference and the diameter. I will just show you yet another aspect. This is part of our book, which is called Brand Bharat, Roots in India. So we say that the value of pi is 3.14, and people attribute it to all these sutras from our Sulba Sutra and all that. And then they show how they have, in these Sulba Sutras, they've spoken about the value of 3, little more than 3, and so on. But look at this. If you have, and Sulba means itself a rope, a string. So look at this. If you have, let us say, some measure, and you have, and the whole idea of a circle is what? That every point on the circle is equidistant from the center. So fundamentally, you are keeping a point, your hand here, and you're trying to draw something. Let's say you're using a stick as a measure. Now, if the thread that you're using is just 1 time the length of that stick, then it will only align against it. If it is 2 times, it will just go around it. If it is 4 times, it is just same like 2. 2 times it can go around it. So somewhere between 2 and 4 is the state where you can have a shape of a circle. So that itself is a way to understand why should pi be 3.14. And then you can have a lot of, as you grow, you will keep understanding so many theorems and go through it, and you'll come to the reasoning as to why it is 3.14 and so on. And look at the word they have given for pi. Paridhi Vyasa Sambandhana. So paridhi means circumference. And what is pi? It's the ratio of circumference to diameter. Look at the word for diameter. It is vyasa. Vyasa is the word which means diameter. Now, normally, when we say the word vyasa, what first comes to our mind? Veda Vyasa. And why do we say Veda Vyasa? I mean, and what do we understand when we say Veda Vyasa? We think of compilation, right? Because in English, we have always been told Veda Vyasa, he is the compiler of the Veda. So compilation is Vyasa. But what does a diameter do? It slices the circle into two halves. And if you look at the word, meaning of the word Vyasa itself, Vyasa means to divide, to organize, so to rearrange. That is the word Vyasa. And when you say a compilation, the activity of compilation, what does it mean? You take something from here, you take something from there, you reorganize, you recompile, you put them together. So when you say Vyasa as just compiler, it gives you a different notion. But then when you look at Vyasa and understand the meaning of the word Vyasa, and look at how it has been used in geometry as a divider of the circle into two halves, then you get a beautiful understanding of how they have approached geometry. So geometry pi is paridhi. And paridhi also, what is paridhi? Dhi is, it's a receptacle. That's why your intellect is called dhi, because it's a receptacle. It's holding everything. You may be such a small figure, but your dhi is so big that it can hold so much. It's holding much more than what your size is. And that's a receptacle dhi. And dhi denotes that flat area. So what is paridhi? It is this line, right? So what is the circumference? It is this line. And what is this doing? This line? It is separating this flat receptacle from everything that is around it. So paridhi, so dhi and the thing around it, it is separating it. So this is how everything in our knowledge system has a meaning, and a meaning that will come very nicely to you. And when you start looking at a circle like this, and then your understanding itself and how to apply it will grow manifold. So this is what is the relevance of, so because today you know what is pi, you know Pythagoras theorem, you know so many of these things. Definitely we can show how all of these have traveled, but they've gone there, they have also worked on it, and then it has now come back into our education system, which incidentally also we can show how the education system also went from here. But that's besides, I mean, 15 minutes is not enough for that. But the point is, now what do you do with Baudhayana? Why should you study Baudhayana? Why should you study all these rishis' works? And our earlier speaker, Dr. Krishnaswamy, very nicely, he also said that he seems to have grappled with the subtle and the gross. So all of these geometry was, if you look at it, is not just numbers and just figures and shapes only of concrete. They are means by which we can transcend from subtle and gross beautifully. And that is why you also have 0 to infinity and all the concrete numbers in between as well. And these kind of understanding will come once you start reading these texts in the original and start understanding it from these perspective. In fact, calculus itself went long ago to Europe, but they had a lot of difficulty in comprehending because our philosophy to maths is very different from the philosophy that the West has understood and settled down to. So it's important not only to look at maths, but to look at the overall philosophy and aspects, the ethos in the Indian knowledge system, to understand and put all of this to good use. So this is what I would like to share in this short duration. And I hope many of you youngsters get motivated to pursue all these different texts in original. And we do have a lot of information in our website, which is I will just show you so that you can go there anytime to read it. Just a second. So it is BharathGyan, BharathGyan.com. If you go there, you will see, and we also offer a lot of courses which are being conducted world over. And you can go to the courses here where we deal with all these in detail, and they are credits courses. You have books here, mini books, films. So please enjoy, go through this and savor all of this.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for very enlightening discussion that we had and great presentation that you gave on Baudhayana and its five. Thanks a lot for your time, ma'am, uh,
Thank you.
uh, for enlightening all our participants as well. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.